Yes, Spice Girl. That's what it means backwards.
Let's see how this drama unfolds.
I'm probably picturing you dying laugh in the background over there. As I realize Das ain't even here.
She's not smiling anymore. She's living in the
Alright. Yeah, I mean, backwards is I'm gay.
Yeah, I know. She's like, yeah, no, that joke is old. That joke is older than dirt by this point.
Round one.
Well, I mean if it's still there. Doing business transactions. Oh, I asked that, like, yeah, I do believe we could have a deal on this.
Using characters that I moderately know how to use, so this one's probably going to go pretty quickly.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Alright, it's one of those, okay, what's the next team on the roster? I'm like, oh, I moderately know how to use these characters. This is going to be quick. Trying to fix this as quick as I possibly can.
That's fine. I mean, you know, in all likelihood, it's probably the last one night at a guess. We'll figure it out as we go, done deal.
You better figure it out now.
Well, I mean, let's see you finish it under like 20 minutes, we'll talk.
Possibly. Because if I can do it under 20 minutes before I get to the 3 hour mark, sure.
Yeah, the agreed upon mark.
Yeah, if I got 1 more hour, I can probably do a lot more damage.
I mean, to be fair, it's like, it's not so much damage, so it's like, oh, well, some of these don't have character, and it's like, oh, well.
The DLC team does, so I could have just skipped the previous two.
Yeah, but we didn't know that, so.
Yeah. Making up for lost time.
Pretty much. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Marvel in there. We were talking about Marvel 4 possibilities, and then we got into the Darkstalker debate and how shit went wherever it was, and because you were talking about how Ono was saying like, oh yeah, that's not what he meant by Darkstalkers is not dead.
Right, and like he actually was referring to a proper Darkstalkers 3.
4.
According, sure, whatever. Whatever number it fucking was. Alright,
4.
Like, they didn't use numbers, so I was like, I'm just sitting there kind of pointing that out.
I know
Not
they
to
didn't.
mention there's like the American version, then there's the Japanese version, and I'm not getting into that argument because there's like fucking 7 Darkstalkers games for no fucking reason.
There's like technically, yeah, about not 7, but like 5 actual Darkstalker games, because there's the original arcade run, then the home console release version that they gave us in the Capcom Beat 'em Up collection. Then we got the Darkstalkers Night Warrior, the Darkstalkers Vampire Savers, and it was a sequel because of the limitations of the hardware. They had to split up into 2 different versions of the game. And then we get Vampire Savior 2 and then Night Warriors 2. Same difference. The limitations of the hardware couldn't get everyone that was in the roster.
Right, and I get that, but you know, on the broad sense, it's like I think it's like 5 to 7 games for like no reason basically. Other than it's like, yeah, it's like there were limitations to the hardware, and I understand that. I'm not discounting that. It's like they couldn't do anything more than what they could have done.
Exactly, because if they could have, you know, because they basically put, yeah, because for whatever reason, Darkstalkers was pushed the hardware to its basically limitations. Versus Street Fighter, which couldn't do it, except for like, you know, oh yeah, here's the Alpha 2, Alpha 3 versions of the game.
Right.
They had to split their games into 2 different parts because of the limitations, which makes me laugh.
Right, but on the flip side of the whole equation too, and I guess this is more of a shot at Capcom in whole, if you will. Whereas like, you know, they never came back and like, oh, well, we're just gonna mash the 2 together and make it one massive game. It's like,
they did that in Darkstalkers 3.
You see what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, I know. Trying to get a hard copy of Darkstalkers 3 is easier
That's
said
a
than
whole whole different argument.
Yeah, it's one of those good luck with that, because I think it was only, well, it was on Dreamcast and PlayStation 1?
Well, not to mention, it's like getting into Darkstalkers again is like there are modes in those games that were never present again. So like the Darkstalkers Tower kind of thing.
Yeah, the Chaotic Tower, which basically had you rushing up the tower, doing everything accordingly with that. Going up, basically, like 100.
One of my favorite things from Soul Calibur. I'm not gonna lie, like the combat, the combat tower from Soul Calibur.
Oh,
like
right.
Okay, it was very hit or miss. Like I think it was Soul Calibur 3. Either you liked the shit out of it or you hated the shit out of it, kind of thing.
Select order.
I see where you're getting at. Yeah. Where you can just basically just continuously fighting until you get to the top end of the thing. The final boss of the tower conquered the tower, and then congratulations, the end, you win. Here's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? Mortal Kombat 9 did the same thing, where they had the challenge tower.
I mean, Mortal Kombat has always had the challenge towers.
No. They had the challenge tower.
Like I said, they've always had a challenge tower in every Mortal Kombat game. They had different, basically, levels, and there was, like, the other time, like, hell yeah, you fight this many characters in the roster, this many characters in the roster, and then the big granddaddy of them all, you fight everybody in the roster, even characters not on the roster.
Okay, I gotta put this correctly. But 9 specifically is where I'm going with this, because it's probably the best example of challenge tower I've ever seen. Whereas, like, it's like, fight this person under a certain condition.
Oh.
I get what you're saying, I do. Whereas, like, fight so many people is, like, that's its own challenge kind of thing. Which, those battles are included in the tower, don't mistake. But, what I'm getting at more is the fact that it's like, they had extra shit in there. It's like, well, you have to fight this person under a very specific condition, whereas, like, only ranged projectiles will hurt this character.
Oh, right. Under specific win conditions, you have to beat this person.
Right.
I mean, yeah, Chaotic Tower did... Chronicles of the Chaos Tower did the same thing. You had to basically do that to...
You get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, especially the ones where you had to... If you do beat their conditions, you can actually skip, like, fit, like, a lot of the tower.
Well, like, I like the MP9 one just because, like, the fucking shit involved is so fucking, like, oh, we'll do this, do that, fucking, like, it was very varied. It's like, it was always entertaining going one more step kind of thing. It's like, and you did get a lot of, like, oh, one more battle, one more battle, kind of thing.
I can do this, just one more fight! One more fight!
And, like, Max did a whole thing fucking with, 300, which, like, the 300 level of the tower, which was fighting, like, 4 characters in a row, no breaks kind of thing. And, with the way the AI works in that game, it's like, it would sit there and, like, it would curb its fucking attack algorithms if you lost the fight and just reset. So if you wanted to fight on the hardest difficulty, you had to sit there and not only fucking, like, fight in one shot, but if you lost, you had to go back all the way out to the main menu, almost, and start again.
Like, take your ass back to the ground floor and work your way up.
No, not ground floor. Like, you had to go back to the main menu. Otherwise you would fall victim to the algorithm. The algorithm would get dumber and dumber.
Oh, this was too rough for you. Let me be gentle.
Right, exactly. And I didn't know this, and so, I'm gonna have to make kind of a fucking edit on what we sit there and talk about a little bit on fucking Resident Evil.
The scaling, DOS. The scaling.
I didn't know scaling was a thing for Resi.
Oh, yeah. It bit you in the ass there, didn't it, guy?
Well, you say that, although technically it's going to bite us in the ass in the long stream.
When we actually get to the point of RE5 and 6 and shit.
Right. So, we're not going to play on Veteran? Like I originally thought, because, like, Veteran is, like, kind of my comfort zone, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, because it's just hard enough that it's like it feels right kind of thing.
And I was basically gonna say like, okay, if we're playing on veteran, we do this with no bulletproof vest, no armor, and we can actually use infinite weapons, but we can't use super weapons.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, well, we can't do veteran now, or just the hard mode as they refer to it. We have to do professional, at least in my opinion. We're doing professional.
So we're going down 1. Boo. Why?
Down 1? No, we're going up 1.
Oh, so we're going up 1. If we're doing
it's getting harder.
Okay, can I ask why?
Veteran has scaling, so ergo if we sit there and like, oh, if we die a shit ton in one spot, then it gets easier.
Oh.
I did not know this, otherwise I would not have agreed to it.
So basically we're still following since we're on pro, no armor. Do we
No, you can have armor. You're allowed to have armor.
Okay.
No infinite weapons.
Not even if. See, because the weapon. Because I was gonna say we're gonna be limited to weapons. Like we get a handgun, shotgun, and a rifle. That's literally our 3 weapons to use.
I will. At this point, I will allow you to carry over anything we've leveled up.
Basically anything we've basically maxed out, but no infinite weapons.
Nothing with the infinite weapon. No.
I mean, I did all that work to unlock all the infinite weapons, and we're playing on the hardest difficulty.
Right, but we still have to use ammo.
Because I was gonna go like, we cannot pick up anything but health kits. That's it. That's the only thing we can pick up. Like anything that basically requires like, oh, here's healing. Here's more healing. Pick up the healing only.
No, because like, I can't justify that. That's the problem. It's like, because at that point it's like, no, because we have infinite weapons. Like, oh, you could just sit there and fucking shoot blindly at a fucking wall, and you'll hit something.
I mean, that's why I said like, that's why I said we limit the weapons. Like, oh, handgun, shotgun, and a rifle. Like that's about it.
I still can't justify that. There has to be some form of challenge. Like,
besides the current difficulty.
Well, yeah, because if we have fucking like super mad weapons, which is what we're going to have, it's like, you know, it's like there has to be some kind of limiter, and it's like the limiter in some sense has to be, you know, the survivability of bullets. Which, if you remember from 5 and 6, bullets are not something you usually run out of.
I mean, besides like we can trade ammo to each other.
You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, other than fucking, like, mega weapons, like the Magnum and shit like that, how often do you run out of ammo for, like, your fucking, like, standard handgun? Or shotgun, even?
I mean, they literally give us base bitch ammo for a handgun, shotgun, and rifle ammo. That's right. Rifle and machine gun ammo. That's what they mainly give us, but it only goes to like any other weapon. Because if you get a better handgun than what you're using with your base handgun, you basically stop using your base handgun and go to the better one.
All right. Well, I mean, and be happy is like, you know, I'm not going fucking like, you know, we're all fucking like professional, because I thought about that too, but it's like, you know, I couldn't really justify that, because like, you know, you put so much work into fucking 5 and 6, is like, no, I can't just justify as like, no, go to base, bitch, fucking this, that, and the other, because like, no, I mean, if you're already preying on professional, it's like, you put the work in, like, you have to unlock professional to get professional.
Not to mention the 2 extra story segments that we're going to be doing in the 5. Because are we doing that part? Well, one of them we probably should be able to do first, like the one with Chris and Jill fighting Wesker.
That one bigger DLC first, yes.
Yeah, because that actually feeds into the story better.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like, for lack of a better term, it's like it fits perfect for what it is. But it fits even better as like a retelling of it, because the fact it's like, well, they couldn't beat him then, kind of deal.
Because Albert Wesker does what he desires, and global saturation will be at hand.
So,
when I release Ouroboros into the atmosphere.
Right, the innovative thing is like, so, like, knowing there's a fucking, like, difficulty curve on 5 and 6 for both veteran is like, I can't justify that from the way I've been playing every other game in the series so far. It's like, I've been playing on the hardest difficulty, Mass Effect, it's like, stupid fucking conditions like, if you die, fucking your game's over kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, no, apparently we're doing professional runs now, which I wasn't aware of, but hey, we're doing it.
We're not doing that shit in Dead Space, so fuck you and all that. Fucking...
No, Dead Space is a different category, because, like, that falls into the weird fucking bullshit fucking one-off difficulty kind of thing, whereas, like,
Select order.
Okay, I see the appeal of, like, doing a fucking run in Dead Space or something like that. Whereas, like, oh, well, if you die, you die. That's the end of your run, kind of thing.
Go back to square one.
The appeal, right?
I don't.
I see the appeal. I understand that. Trust me. We've had several arguments about this whenever we did it in Dead Space 3.
Fucking hated every moment of it.
I'm aware.
Still hate every fucking moment of it.
I am willing to do stupid shit like that to me. I'm not willing to do that to us.
Again.
There's a difference there.
Not willing to do that again to us.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it's like, oh yeah, like, cause especially with the recent Fire Team release, oh yeah, you can make a character, if they die, that's the end of them. Like, fuck that. No, I will.
I'm not even arguing. I legitimately thought about doing like a one-off kind of thing.
Good luck with that, bud.
Like, no, that's why it would be a one-off thing. Whereas, like, the adventures of Private fucking...
Private Meatbag and Bullet Sponge.
Yeah, Private Meatbag. So I might even call it that. I'm not even gonna lie. Private Meatbag. Fucking see how long he survives kind of deal.
And fucking aliens. This is like the hard... Like, so you gotta worry about the friendly fire curve, as well as the aliens in themselves. Everything else around you will be doing more damage.
Right.
Like, fuck. All of that, respectively.
Although I might run private tests so I can see what the fuck I'm talking about before I run Private Meatbag.
Oh, I know how it's gonna go. You're probably gonna die in level 1.
I think I get past level 1. I really do.
Because if you're doing this by yourself with bots, and you know, like I said, by yourself with just the bots,
I assume there'll be other people that show up. Right, really
if they want to show up.
Well, of course they want to show up. But I do think fucking it's like I think private tests would be a fucking decent. Like, okay, we're gonna test this out real quick, see what it looks like, and then maybe private meatbag.
As that meatbag gets basically tossed into the grinder and made into everybody's hot dogs. Hot dogs, cat food, all the things, and various other stuff.
It kind of feels like, you know, kind of a one-off adventure where it's like, oh, it was like the Tales of Private Meatbag.
Meatbag and Bullet Sponge. Those two are always stuck together. They always seem to just die together.
There you go.
Shermie's beating my ass.
Oh, too late now to hurt Locker.
I mean, she is beating my ass today. Alright, cool. I think you heard me talking shit earlier. Cause I was hanging out with Dio last night, and he pointed out like, geez, this KOF has it out for me, cause it literally has damn near all my favorite KOF female characters in the game, with the exception of like 3. And like, it has stopped thinking, but like, yeah, they're like all here except like 3 of them, because one of them is stuck in maximum impact, which is its own thing. Yeah, because I think she was like the mid boss of the game, so she's not gonna be. I highly doubt she'll be here. And other than that, like Vice and Mature, like those two, like those are the only.
Mature, aren't you?
Hush up. Because like those two are the only, yeah, those are like the last two characters like left that I would more or less like, yeah, I would want them in this game because that would actually complete the entirety of the female roster of KOF for me. Yeah, like they will all be here. And then Dio kept making the joke of like, oh yeah, they're just gonna be, you know, here, there. I walk into a room, they're all there. I'm like, no, this is me getting set up for my own demise.
It's kind of like when you walk in the room with all your exes.
Yeah, basically that.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm sorry. I don't know. Sit there and think about it a little bit now. It's like most of my exes like me. That's the sad part.
Well, I have bad luck with relationships, Das. Good for you.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying they ended pretty. I'm saying that most of them like me now.
I'm just gonna play the game now.
God, okay. I didn't know it was in a spot. Alright, I'll shut up then.
It's like verse.
But yeah. No, like I said, it's like, what else? Well, I know the next Pokemon game is coming out here shortly. That's kind of why I'm trying to sit there and like double down on fucking like Pokemon in the next near future. Whereas like, kinda really want to get that done before like other Pokemons come out.
Basically, before Scarlet and Violet come out, because you're gonna want to go through that.
Oh yeah. And it's like, how do you go from like Gen 1 to fucking like Gen fucking 8 kind of deal? 9. Sure. No, 9, but okay.
Yep. We're pretty far in that that continuation of like how far we are down that line. We're creeping up on that Gen 9 of Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, like, cause I've been jumping into Arceus here lately, and yeah, I know I'm late to the party, but I don't care.
That weird open world curve you're trying to get through.
Yeah, oh my god, fucking it is something, because I was not prepared to deal with that. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, you want to sit there and run down a ponytail, fucking catch it in the wild? It's like, yeah, fucking, you better fucking get to running, motherfucker.
I mean, haven't you played Pikachu Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu?
I own it, doesn't mean I play it. That kind of falls into one of those categories.
Okay, see, no, that's the problem. Because see, if you played it, it's generally the essentially first kind of open world one that you want to thumb through. Because at least that way you get the base mechanics of all that stuff down. Especially
no,
like,
I got a lot of the base mechanics down. It's just more of like I was not familiar with how they're playing it, kind of thing. And I guess that's where I'm not saying I'm having a difficult time, because I'm not.
You're just a little confused.
It's more like stunned. It's like, oh, okay, so this is how we do it now in the current age, kind of thing.
Yeah, because like leveling up Pokemon in that is easier than most.
Oh, a lot fucking easier. It's like you don't even have to really do anything for half of it. It's just like you gotta run around, just fucking throw Pokeballs and shit. It's like, oh, all my Pokemon leveled up. It's like, well, that's not how it used to work, but alright.
Back in my day, we had to go out and grind a Pokemon, work them out. Hell, had to use the TMs to make sure they could level up accordingly.
Very much. And it's like, yeah, it's like, sitting there running through fucking, Arceus. And it's like, yeah, it's like I'm collecting Pokemon, I'm fucking like solving the mysteries, fucking like making peace between the clans and stuff and the other. It's like, okay, I know I'm here to fucking make a Pokédex, but damn. It's like, this seems a lot more straightforward than I thought it would be. You know, and I like how they kind of lied to you about alphas. I'm not gonna lie, fucking like, so like, the first alpha I ran into was a Cricketune, which I think that's part of the story context, where it's like, oh, you have to run into this motherfucker and deal with him.
Basically, you have to learn about the thing accordingly.
Alright, and these are like level 15, which, okay, cool. Like, most of my fucking Pokemon are like level 20 dealing with his ass, which wasn't a big deal. But then the next alpha, and pretty much every alpha after that I've dealt with, there's like, yeah, we're walking like 30 to 40. It's like, you can fucking suck a chode until you're fucking good enough to deal with it.
Get good, scrub! Get on ranked! Levels of bullshit, right?
Pretty much, it's like, I'm sorry, it's like, why is there a fucking level 40 Snorlax when I'm running at it with a fucking level 20 Starly?
Because fuck you. That's why.
That's pretty much kind of what I got told. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, fucking like running into wild Scythers and fucking throwing Pokeballs at it is fucking probably the coolest thing I've ever seen.
But don't they just basically just slash at the Pokeball that's coming at them or just straight up run at you or whatever?
No, like they kind of just like float around because, well, they don't walk because they have wings, which I can kind of get.
I mean, they are essentially praying
mantis. You
mantis.
just see like flying Scythers in their natural habitat. It's like, alright, this is what I imagine the Safari Zone as, and it's fucking amazing.
This is what Pokemon Snap should have been.
You're not wrong! And I actually thought about doing that too, for like fucking the streams and stuff like that.
I fucked that up and I'm now going to pay. Yeah, I fucked it up, now she's gonna pay for that. Alright, cool.
Well, and I actually might even do it in order. I might do fucking Pokemon Snap and then roll into Pokemon Snap too, because I've played Pokemon Snap, and I've fully fucking completed Pokemon Snap on N64, but I've never fucking like played or completed fucking Pokemon Snap 2. Which, oh my god, I love me some Pokemon Snap, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I've played Pokemon Snap. It took me a while to get the freaking Poke Flute and to find freaking Mew. That took freaking forever. There it is. I love the fact that they're all at a bar.